Well, I say New Zealand filmmaking, I'm talking about filmmaking on a shoestring budget, DIY, grab as many of your friends as possible and let's have some fun. So it brings me some great pleasure to bring up to the stage Jason Ellis, Eli Hill, and Jas Hazeldine. Now, Jason is the writer, director, and editor. Eli Hill's the writer and director, and Jas is an idiot.
Thanks, Damien.
Kia ora, boys.
Howdy.
Long time no see.
It's been about 5 minutes, yeah?
Yeah, about 5 minutes, yeah. So, first question, where was my invite to the Fringe Festival?
It was all over Facebook, didn't you see it?
No, I mean as in, I should have been in it.
You were mentioned.
I was mentioned.
You
was available.
You don't want to know how you were mentioned, though. It wasn't good.
That's just hurt my feelings.
Josh, blame Josh. He took your part.
Oh yeah, I heard he did poorly. Nah, the bloody guy was good too. He's an entertainer.
Hey Josh.
Oh, yeah. I'm back in, so for the record, I'm back in Wellington, guys, so if you have anything like that, I've done a bit of stage work in my past, so just remember that. But in all seriousness, these guys, I had an absolute blast. Let's start off with a quick question. Oh, there he is. Yeah. Come up.
There you go. Come on, Josh.
Okay, now this is great. This is Josh Carmo, also known as Blame the Robot. So if you're looking for are you on YouTube now or just Twitch? Everywhere. Look for Blame the Robot. Josh was he played one of the judges in the movie, and he also was instrumental in the Fringe Festival show that they recently had as well. Very successful Fringe Festival show, from what I heard. So this is an impromptu member of the cast. So let's start with the idea. What made you decide to shoot a movie with no money in New Zealand?
Well, it started off with 48 Hours, the film festival, which you make a movie for no money in New Zealand. And it's a short movie. And Jason and I both, passionate about making short films, making YouTube videos, all that sort of thing. That's where we met. And then, in life sometimes you meet someone, a kind of collaborative partner kind of thing, and you end up egging each other on. It's like when you're a kid and you're trying to egg your brothers and sisters on to eat more lollies. It's kind of like that. Bad metaphor, but anyway. One day I was driving over the Remotakas to catch up with Jason, and my mum had given me a CD with supposedly the greatest recorder player in the world on it. And I thought, well, that sounds like a good idea for a movie. And so we kind of, we shared the idea, we thought about it, we wrote 10 pages of notes and stuff. We worked out that the recorder player should probably be the villain because no one likes an asshole. And so, it kind of went from there, and it was basically, the two of us backing each other up, just bringing on a whole amazing group of people, cast and crew, who are all so passionate about the project and so passionate about art, and just getting it done. So that's kind of where it launched from. I don't know if Jason's got anything to add.
I don't think I can top that, so yeah, what Eli said.
All right. So it's not just going to be me interviewing, by the way. If you've got any questions for the filmmakers up here or for the actors over there, or for me. But should we play the trailer before we head on, or do you want to do that?
That's probably a good start, yeah.
All right. So, Braden, can you play us the trailer, please? So probably a good idea to see what it is we're talking about. Oh, you're Karen O'Leary's in it.
Giovanni. Brandy. Alex. I believe I have the skills. And please. The bidding act will receive a scholarship to Allen Music Academy
Well, there you go.
There you go.
So, Jace, what's it like seeing yourself up on the big screen?
I've seen that trailer probably about 50 times now, but it's good. It's really exciting. It's the first big project that I was really involved in, and it was an amazing experience, and it's still wild to see myself on the screen in front of a bunch of other people.
So tell us about the character that you play a little bit.
So I played Freddy, who is a bit of a fun-loving bad boy with a good heart. He's a bit dull, but he tries his best. He constantly butts heads with Giovanni, the rival of the film. So I like to think of my character as the savior when he's not, because they're constantly butting heads. Yeah.
So the biggest star by far in the entire movie is Karen O'Leary.
100%.
Right. So my question is for Josh. Was it intimidating at all knowing that you were going to be standing next to one of the best improv actors in the country?
I can definitely answer this question very easily. When I turned up on set, I didn't actually know who, in fact, were going to be my co-stars in the scene. And when you're sat next to Karen O'Leary, who a lot of their dialogue in the movie is actually improv. It's all ad-libbed. I believe what happened is that there ended up being kind of a B-roll montage of all the times I broke because I was sat next to her. The absolute hilarity that she came up with would often leave me just cracking up and just, taking retakes. I don't know. Do you know how many retakes we had to do because of me?
I lost count.
She funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I too have fallen victim to the Karen O'Leary's crack. I have broken because
Phrasing.
of Karen O'Leary.
I think we all did.
Yeah.
There's actually a scene in the Fringe Festival show as well where we play a recording that I believe we did where she talks to a character. And I fully believe this was 100% ad-lib too, but she says, take a photo of yourself, use one of these printers, print it off, and go home and have a little reflect.
Yeah, she just made that 100% up on the spot. That whole scene wasn't even in the script.
So, now I understand that the movie's been picked up at a couple of festivals.
Yeah, so one main festival, we actually only found out yesterday while we were setting up that we got into the Byron Bay Underground Film Festival in Australia, which is next month. It's pretty exciting, yeah. And we got initially, what was that, sorry, Kim? Well, yeah, flights are too expensive. And we also initially got selected for a festival in Rome, but didn't get any further in that one.
Brilliant. And what's next?
Well,
You can answer that, Jess.
actually, so our little Tin Whistle collective, we've just started, pre-production on another feature, completely different vein, a bit of a comedy though, which is to come. It's still in the process of being finished, of the whole script. But yeah, that's pretty much where we're at next.
Yeah.
Along with any other shorts we can get our hands on making, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah, any competitions we can enter and all that kind of thing.
So the big question, if you want to see the whole movie, where do we go?
About 4 aisles that way. We're in aisle 8, you can buy the DVD. It's got a bunch of special features as well. Otherwise, it's also on Vimeo on demand.
Excellent. And I'll sign a copy if you want to lower the value. Do we have any questions from the audience for our... Yep, Nick. Jace, just give him his... Yeah, there you go.
Be nice, Nick. I know you got a novel worth of questions already.
Not quite a novel. But were there any scenes that were particularly hard to film?
Hard to film. The first thing that comes to mind is anything with Grant, who played Cletus, acting drunk. Anytime he did that, I don't know what it was, but me and Max, our camera operator, just couldn't stop laughing. We literally had to leave the room because we were putting everyone else off. It was so bad, but just hilarious.
Actually, I'd like to answer that question.
Okay, here we go.
Grant's involved in that as well. One of the things that, as a lot of it is ad-libbed at the time, we'd be given a rough idea of what we were supposed to say, and I was shooting a scene outside of the Bowls...
Stahi Bay Bowling Club.
Yeah, the Bowls Club. and I nailed it. It was the best take I'd done. It was absolutely brilliant. I got the words right. There was no hesitation. It was purely natural. And I got everything. I hit all my marks, hit all my points. And Grant chose that moment to walk past us with his pants down. Ruined the whole shot. Took me 3 takes to get it right after that.
And that basically just sums up Grant on set for the entire movie, but yeah.
The other thing that I was... Oh, how's your car?
Yeah, I
You
sold
sold that
it.
one, didn't you? Yeah.
Some sucker bought it off me. But basically, we were shooting a scene in Carterton. I had a pink Suzuki Swift. Not quite your idea of an off-road vehicle, you know? But we needed something that kind of made it look like our host had, got lost in the middle of...
It was meant to be that he was stuck in the mud, but it was the middle of January, so there was no mud whatsoever.
Yeah, so basically, to sum it up, Damien just revved the guts out of my car, and it looked awesome, but poor pink
car.
Suzuki Swift.
Whoa. In my defense, the exact direction I was given by both directors was, we need a cloud of smoke. A cloud of dust. We want it to look like, you're terrified and you're taken off in a cloud of dust.
I don't remember saying that.
Well, the original plan was to have them covered in mud, but we couldn't do that. So, and it's really hard to get a good wheel spin going with a front drive
Automatic.
Suzuki Swift. But I did it.
Yeah. You
About
delivered.
5 times.
Add that to your CV, I think, stunt driver.
Yeah.
Did it ever drive the same after that?
So, okay, we talk about the whole DIY attitude of New Zealand quite a lot. You guys had what they call a micro budget. Explain to us what a micro budget is and how it actually works on a film set.
I mean,
Other than the fact that the actors don't get paid.
nobody. We got paid in food.
Oh, yeah, true. The food was good.
Yeah, the lunches were good. But yeah, there's still a lot of different levels: micro budget, low budget, and so on. But basically means we had no money, so it was entirely self-funded by me and Eli. Our rough estimate was probably came in at just under 10K, so it's still not cheap by any stretch. But it was just a case of everyone that was involved was really passionate about it. Everyone had multiple roles and just got stuck in wherever they had to.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is sometimes to get things off the ground, you kind of have to, make sacrifices and that sort of thing. And I guess there's kind of like the 3, like this triangle that artists often talk about like, it's either going to be expensive, it's going to be done fast, or it's going to be good.
But not all 3.
Yeah, not all 3. And I think probably, the expense is the one we kind of cut down on, and hopefully it looks pretty good. I mean, we've had these festivals kind of come back to us, so that's pretty cool, and some really good feedback from the small community of people that kind of followed the journey and have seen it so far. And basically what now's about is just trying to get it out a bit further. Hoping that, like, by putting ourselves out there, by putting out these amazing actors' talents out there, it might lead to something more for them and, maybe for us, who knows. Yeah. But, yeah.
I noticed when you said amazing actors, you only pointed that way. I'm just saying.
No comment.
We also
bury you.
got quite lucky with Matt, who did our music. He's a teacher at Porirua College, and so we got to use their hall essentially as well the entire time.
Yeah, it's like
which was
90% of our movie was shot at Porirua College, and that didn't cost us anything.
Yeah.
We had access to instruments and all his talent and all that as well. But also compressed the timeline quite a lot, because we started writing the movie in August, and then by the following January we had to finish shooting by the end of January, because we were shooting at the school and it had to be done before the students came back. So it basically became like a 4 or 5 month turnaround from the initial script to production.
Well, because we filmed the entire thing in like a weekend and a week.
Yeah, so just over a week.
It was pretty fast for the whole thing of it, yeah.
And what about the audition process? What was that like for the 2 of you?
Oh, it was cool. It was funny. I actually went into the audition auditioning for the character who's Freddy's best friend, who has like 3 lines. And then I was like, oh, the character learns the recorder in like a week at canon in the movie. I think I could do that. Can I audition for this character? And they're like, yeah, okay. Bada bing, bada boom.
And I think we scared Louis in auditions as well. He plays Giovanni. So I think he read Giovanni first, was it? And he asked if he could read Freddy's lines, and we cut him off halfway through. And he just thought he'd completely ruined it. But no, he was good.
Yeah, so the audition process for my character was very specific and very like a rigorous just regiment. I believe I was contacted by Jason at about 2 a.m, and he says, hey, we kind of need someone to fill in a role. Might you be available? And I said, well, tell me about the role. What's the role? And he goes, you're a failed actor whose career has kind of crashed at the moment, and you've been brought in as a judge. And I'm like, you know what? I think I can do that. I got ya. So I turned up.
Nailed it.
So history is littered with roles that just steal a scene and then become the most memorable in the movie. Josh Carmo, ladies and gentlemen, remember that name? Get the autograph now before it becomes too expensive. Right, so you guys, with the production, the company itself is working on another project. You didn't tell us what it's about. Can you give us just a hint?
I'll leave that. So that's actually been written by Jess and his girlfriend, so I'll let you give an explanation about that.
So essentially, so it's a rom-com, but we don't like rom-coms, so we're trying to make it as far away from that as possible. It's a sort of like, it's a love story between 2 characters that should just really get their shit together, but they can't. And then it goes through a series of events of what hopefully will be comedic scenes and follow a story of, the 2 main characters and their group of friends and getting through everything. That's the main basis of it. There's some funny scenes about like swimming on the beach in the middle of winter, which is not a good idea, and just silly things like that. We're still working on it.
Well, as a fan of the non-rom-com genre, I'm looking forward to this. It should be great. And I'm guessing it's about a young couple?
Yeah, a young couple.
Is there a dad role?
Definitely.
I want to be one of those cool dads that thinks he's cool but isn't. Because I could play that role.
I don't know, some of the funnest characters, honestly.
So what other questions do we have about movie making in New Zealand? Because these guys have done it. Any aspiring actors out there want to know how to audition? No?
Any more questions, Nick?
Okay, Kim. Oh, is it Nick again, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I told you came prepared.
There you go.
So, whose idea was it for Belle's Giovanni shirt?
Oh, whose idea was about the Giovanni shirt?
I don't know where that idea came from originally. So the Giovanni t-shirts?
It might have just been something we dreamt up of. I don't know. Like, I guess sometimes you get these characters in your mind. You guys are all here, so you obviously would have experienced it. But you kind of like really get to know a character, and your imagination's just playing blah blah blah. And we're just thinking, how can we make this asshole of a character, like, just next level him. So it just like, just is unbelievably, into himself. And so basically,
Just has his own merch.
yeah, we basically gave him his own shirt with his face on it, a mug with his face on it. And
The mug's my favorite, because if
yeah.
he's saying something, it just comes up into shot. He takes a drink and puts it down.
Yeah, and it's kind of in a real nice position in that, like, he's trying to look regal, kind of Caesar-ish. And so, yeah, like, that's kind of where it came from.
So there's a t-shirt printing company in Kapiti that allows you to set up like a shop. I think we need to create more...
Oh, so like print to order kind of thing?
Yeah, so you print to order, so you don't have to buy any stock or anything like that. So I'm thinking some Giovanni merch and more tin whistle stuff as well. I mean, we've got to fund the next set of movies somehow.
I mean, that's true.
Would you guys buy some t-shirts if I told you to? Yep, cool, thanks. Sorry, I mean if I asked you really, really nicely.
No threats, eh, Damien?
There's no threats. What's the next question, Nick? Because I know you've got a list.
What are the most memorable outtakes?
I only caught the very end of that, something about outtakes.
The goat. The goat.
So,
You can remember the
it
goat.
was snowy.
Snowy. Urinating, crapping partway through shots.
No, Snowy, there was meant to be a much bigger role for the goat, but it wouldn't play ball. So it makes about a 5-second appearance. It was meant to be a bit during Cletus's interview at the start, where it starts attacking the washing, but we couldn't get it to do anything it was told, so. They say don't work with animals or children, so I guess it kind of proves the point.
I worked with both on that movie.
A lot of the outtakes with Cletus in them are phenomenal. Essentially, because we did a lot of takes after the scene to get all the characters comfortable with each other. We did like what we called an 11 take after we'd filmed the scene for all of the actors to just go ham with their characters. And so we've got a fight scene in there, and Cletus comes in at the end and just pulls Freddie and Giovanni by the hair and drags them along the bar, yelling at us. And because the thing is, he just takes a scene and then just chews it, and like he dragged us around. We had no idea what was going on, and it just hilarious. But it'll be, I think we've got a bunch of outtakes in the DVD that we've got, and it's got some phenomenal ones on there. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got another little promo thing we can play at some point in the panel as well, showing some of those outtakes.
And there was a cameo by some ladies in the show, if I remember correctly. You want to tell us about that one?
I unfortunately didn't get to be one of them, but
It can be arranged for next time.
yeah. Giovanni's aunties, who are essentially worse versions of him. So he's the worst person in the world, and the people who raised him are the reason for it. And our DOP and Louis got to dress up as those characters. I think are they in one of the things?
Yeah, we'll play the thing soon.
They're in one of the
You'll see.
videos we're going to play. But basically, they dress up, and I don't know how to explain them. They're just the worst people in the world. They're these old, horrible ladies that if you're walking past in the street, they'd probably just like kick your shins and then put their cigarettes out on you.
Probably drown you in the smell of their perfume.
I think what I have to fully appreciate about his acting performance as both like the auntie and stuff is just when you have like an evil character that is meant to be like unite us all behind the idea of hating someone. Like you really need to kind of get into the crux of it, because like the moment the audience sympathizes with the villain, like you kind of like have a bad thing because it makes the good guys look bad. And I just love that his performance included like searching for the specific voice for the auntie, and it's just Gio, try the flowers, and it's just excellent performance.
Yeah.
You can only do it for short times though, because it just ruined his throat.
Yeah, but there's no sympathy for that character in that movie at all.
Well, that's the thing. There's one scene where you start to feel sad for him because he's on stage and he's trying to do his best, and then he's just getting booed off. And then the next scene, it just drops, and you're like, this isn't someone I would ever want to be friends with.
Yep.
Like, they're the worst.
It's all just downhill from there.
Yeah.
And typecasting is real. So should we play the next video?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's play the next video. Brayden, play the next video. Where you going?
So professional.
The Swift. Well said. So the other thing I probably should point out is I did my own stunts in that movie.
What stunts?
The stunt driving.
Okay, fair. I'll give you
Yeah.
that.
And I learned that it's really hard to do a handbraking in an automatic.
You did well.
I was trying to, when we did the round, after the drive off, I was trying to
Oh yeah, we didn't use that in the end.
get donuts. You didn't? Really? That's half a day shooting.
There was also there was one scene which was the very first scene in the script. We filmed it 4 separate times and still didn't use it in the end. It just didn't work.
Oh, brilliant.
Yep.
Right, if anyone else got any questions about movie making in New Zealand, about this particular thing? Yeah? No? Yep.
Logan, pass that over,
Give
Nick.
that man the mic. Thanks, Mrs. K.
Hello again.
Hi, Logan.
What would you guys say is the most challenging part of the entire experience?
Working with Jason.
You know you wanted a part in the next movie. You got anything?
Sorry, that was the most challenging part.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like plenty of challenge in it. I guess I guess just the length is something challenging, and this sort of thing, like you do a short film, you can get it over and done with, in a condensed amount of time, whereas this kind of just went on and on and on, and it's kind of like you can have inspiration, and the inspiration feels good, and you're digging into it, you're doing heaps, but then surely along the way you're gonna hit a road bump or two.
Once you're 10 hours into an edit.
Exactly, you're gonna hit road bumps and that sort of thing, and that's gonna slow you down. And I guess the hard part is just continuing on, and I think there's a couple of ways of overcoming that if anyone's looking to do projects similar. And that's one thing is to have a creative partner, you can kind of hold each other accountable and that sort of thing. And the other is just to, I guess, ask yourself why you're doing things, always. If you're doing it for the money, if the money doesn't come, you're going to stop. But, if you're doing it for passion and maybe to better yourself or to tell a good story, that can help a lot. So, yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big challenge.
Yeah.
And there are plenty more along the way, but, and I guess that's why it feels worth it to have the movie play on screens and to show it before people, is because, it was so hard to get it done, and now we're here.
It was funny because the hardest part for me was the pre-production, because it was just so much work to get everything ready to go. And I remember it was maybe in the morning of our first day of shooting, I said to Eli, I'm kind of, in a way, looking forward to it all being over because there'd been so much work. But as soon as we started shooting, I was like, no, I don't want this to be over. This is too much fun now. See, then once you get on set, it's just an experience that
Yeah,
it's hard to beat.
And that's what you got to latch on to as well, is those moments where you're really buzzing and that sort of thing, when you're really like engaged and loving it. And just remember those when, you know, it gets a bit hard, and when you're doing a late night edit or
Lots
after
of late
work
nights.
edit or burning DVDs or whatever it is, you know.
I can only imagine how long and hard the pre-production was, but
You'll find out for the next one.
Yeah? Yeah, we'll find out. But from being on set, you probably picked one of the harder things to do with musical instruments.
Oh yeah, and a few regrets about that in the edit too.
Yeah, because that was a bit of a challenge, was setting up all of, like, when we had all of our performances and everything, and getting it to look good and not look like we have no idea what we're doing.
Like when we made you play the drums when you'd never touched a drum set before.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to play the drums. Oh, when are we filming that? In about 2 hours. Oh, okay. I'll just go to the back room and learn then. But no, it's all fun, and the challenges are all part of it.
The biggest challenge of playing a failed actor. Honestly, that's the easiest part. But what I can say is that bringing a character to life and trying to find those motivations is both an engaging and oftentimes trying experience. When I think about like Louis' performance, as I mentioned earlier, the art of actually delivering such a compelling villain is so difficult, because when you toe the line and kind of fall on the other wayside, the audience becomes almost too sympathetic. For instance, a good example I can think of was during the Fringe Festival. He delivered this excellent performance after some stuff happened. And he sat there delivering this kind of like tearful, like, and the audience gave a, "Aww, he's the bad guy. Don't awe this dude. We just showed you footage of him slapping somebody."
But in true Giovanni fashion, he then ruined it like 10 seconds later.
But of course, like that being able to kind of find that characterization and be able to tell a story that the audience, like, that resonates with an audience is quite challenging, but it's also the most rewarding.
I think we were spoiled as actors. I wasn't challenged at all. And but I'll tell you why. So I was given a clearer direction of what they wanted. I was given a clear understanding of what vision they had. And when I turned up on set, everything was ready to go. So the crew, Jason and Eli especially, had everything planned so well. I mean, I've been on professional sets that have not been as planned as well as these guys had their things. Yes, they had their challenges and their hiccups and things that went sideways. Filming outside with Wellington wind, you know, that was always a challenge, and yet we still managed to get the shots done. So I've interviewed a bunch of people up on this very stage that have done big multi-billion or $1 million productions, you know, budgets over 100,000. And yet when they talk about the project they did with their mates where they had $30,000 to work on it in America, that's when their eyes light up. And that's the sort of thing that I believe that Jason and Eli created, was this passion project that everyone bought into, from, you know, the extras that just turned up to help. I mean, my fiance was in a crowd shot, just randomly, you know, and then we drove all the way home to live in at the time. So, but that was the thing. It was like we asked people to help like that, and they were just so eager to jump on board. And a lot of that was because of Eli and Jason and the passion they brought to the project. So the challenges they faced would have been technical and maybe energy-wise when they're trying to, you know, edit a material without someone cracking up in the middle or the background, or planes flying overhead so the audio's been ruined.
To be fair, it was me half the time cracking up in the background, so it's my own fault.
True, that's why I wasn't that sympathetic about it. But yeah, I think that's the thing about this sort of project here, is that it was so much fun to be on it, and I was only limited the amount of time I could be there because of my geographical location at the time. But god damn, it was fun, and I would jump up and do another movie with these guys for free in a heartbeat.
You're really fishing for that role in the next one, aren't you?
Oh, I just want to be involved.
No.
That's what I'm saying. It was so much fun that, you know, I would happily, I mean, heck.
That's what we said
put
even
in 2
before we
bundles or
started.
something.
Even before our first day of shooting, it was we said to each other, the main thing we wanted was to make sure that it was still fun on set. everyone had a good time.
Yeah, I definitely think you hit the nail on the head. Like, someone should have been recording you and writing it down. You know, because that's great. Like when I was in journalism school, I interviewed a guy called Bernie Rao, and he's done My Love and My Lazy Boy and gone on to do a heap of films. And at the time, he was just shooting this film, you know, in his house about this sofa that, you know, becomes possessed and tries to kill people. And he basically said, you know, when you're doing this sort of thing, every day, man, every day's got to be a party, you know, like, and you know, it's just trying to keep that vibe up and trying to keep it so that, you know, people want to be engaged.
Especially doing a lot of long hours as well, so everyone gets tired. And
yeah, exactly. You know, like when people are, you know, giving their heart, you got to kind of give it back and like just keep that energy going.
And I think it's important, especially if you think about, now New Zealand's been lucky with COVID, but around the world, you know, I mean, the first thing to suffer was arts, you know, artists. So, you know, finding time to celebrate this sort of thing and support local filmmaking and local artists, I think is very important to consider as well. I mean, that's your t-shirt, Bad Taste. That's how Peter Jackson started. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to become Peter Jackson. It'd be nice.
I'll hold you to that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, before I started losing weight, I got asked if I was him. My response was always, no, I'm too tall and too poor. But that's the thing. I mean, you know, who knows? The small film that you buy on DVD today might suddenly be worth heaps down the line because the guys that created it have sparked off, and everyone starts somewhere. And I think, you know, these sorts of things, when it's local and you can get involved, and who knows, you know, you could end up as an associate producer or an actor in the next production they do. So find them on Facebook. You've got a Facebook page.
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah, Tin Whistle Collective. Make sure you get on board. Anyone else got any more questions before you guys go back and man your booth? Who's manning the booth?
Jess's girlfriend.
Thanks,
Alicia.
Oh.
I have a question for the directors and the cast. If you had to be half man, half sausage, which half would it be and why?
I'm already
Top,
half man,
half,
half
bottom?
sausage.
What?
What flavour sausage?
Huh? Why, food stuff. Make it a donut. No, it's got to be sausage. Everyone else gets sausage. It's fine.
Well, I mean, the obvious answer is, aren't I already half sausage?
Well, I mean, okay, like, let's be honest. Troy Baker
I
was
wasn't going
bottom
to say
half
that,
sausage.
I mean, the
Oh, yeah.
Surely bottom
Me too.
half.
Me too.
Why the bottom half?
Like, I don't know, sausages are squishy so you can just bounce around, like...
Otherwise you're just a sausage with legs.
Yeah.
That's no good to anybody.
Yeah.
So top half.
Yeah, and like...
No, you've got to be the bottom half.
can
If it's
still
the top
play-
half, you've just got legs.
Yeah, you can still play PlayStation and be a voice
And like, the world runs on Zoom calls now, so like, no one's gonna know that you're a
I
sausage.
don't think anyone out there is going to be in a Zoom call going, are you bottom half sausage, man?
Well, they will be if everyone else is half sausage.
It depends. If you pick the top half, does it still have a face on the front of the sausage?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because what if you
Are
did
there
the top
sausage
half?
arms?
Because imagine the amount of roles you'd get if you were the one dude who's half a sausage. Like, there will be movies
a
out
live
the
action
wazoo.
version of Sausage Party.
It speaks volumes that we feel like having half a sausage as a body would help our acting career.
Oh, no.
Don't say we in that, by the way.
Well, thank you.
Fabulous question, Josh. Thank you.
Yeah, you see some dumb questions on this stage?
That can't be our last question. Come on. There we go. Down
I'll
in front.
come down. It's fine.
Thanks, Josh.
What's up?
So throughout this creative process, what's one of the most valuable things you learned that you can apply in the making of your next film?
Most valuable thing for me is just having the right cast and crew. We really lucked out with who we got because everyone was just super into it, super passionate about it. There was no drama on set or anything like that. So yeah, having the right people is probably the most important thing for me.
I think that also speaks because, so like before we even started shooting, we had essentially rehearsals, which you usually only do for stage shows, but we had read-throughs of the script and then we played through different parts of scenes and it got all of the actors used to knowing each other, and we now are all essentially friends and we have a certain amount of chemistry, but getting that chemistry between the actors was definitely something that's quite valuable.
Yeah.
And they did really well casting a bunch of down-to-earth people. I mean, none of them asked for trailers except for me, so. And it was just to help move, really.
Good question.
We got a question down the front, I think.
Down the front, Josh.
Oh, this is what I'm doing now. This is great.
You started
Hi,
it.
who's got the question here? There you go.
Back to the sausage question.
Josh, what have you started?
That sausage, if you were to replace it, would it be made out of yourself or just other meat?
Oh,
It's for you, Josh. You
This is
started
a
this.
me question.
Yeah.
So are you talking about specifically like the logistics of how this worked? It would be full
would
sausage.
you like half yourself and then just make it into a
Like
sausage?
if you went out onto like corny place on a hot day, you might cook and peel like that kind of sausage.
but is it sausage meat, but I've still got my legs?
No, you just get a
Legs.
hopping sausage.
Or I'm just a sausage.
No, full sausage.
So you couldn't have the top,
Saveloy.
then you couldn't have the top half sausage.
It'd just be a sausage
Yeah,
with
but no, if
legs.
it's full sausage in the leg, and you're just going to go. You can't go. Oh, but it's full sausage on the top, but you get a face. I want feet.
Thank you so much for looking into the logistics of this.
What
I
if you
hate
were
you so
vegan
much
and you
right
didn't
now.
want to be a sausage?
Sorry, this whole panel's now just.
Your new favourite
Sorry,
question,
what was
basket
your-
panels.
What if you were vegan and you didn't want to be a sausage?
Vegan.
There are vegan sausages,
Be
surely.
a carrot?
Well, a carrot.
So do you want to be a carrot top or a carrot bottom?
Oh no.
I asked that question wrong, didn't I?
I would like to answer that. I reckon to an extent you have to combine your genetics with the sausage genetics. So I don't think you could have a vegan sausage as your bottom half.
Ah, good point. Science.
Give us 20 years and I'm sure we'll be there.
Whoever married you, ma'am, is a lucky man.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have found the bottom of the barrel, so any question is going to be absolutely fine.
Bottom of the barrel, mate. We've dug ourselves a hole. Any questions related to the movie that are not sausage themed? Any questions in general that are not sausage themed? Well, I think we can't. Oh, yeah, here we go.
Go on then, Nick. One more.
What got you two, Eli and Jason, into writing/directing?
Oh, yeah.
I think for me, it's just a general love of movies. Just always been into. I watch a lot of movies and TV shows and stuff in my spare time. So it's like the next natural progression, I think.
Yeah, that's a good question. Is this one?
Broke it.
Yeah. That's a good question. I started writing because I liked books, and why not write books? Then became a journalist and kind of went from there. And as far as directing goes, I just loved making YouTube videos and stuff as a kid, and just that was kind of my way into it. As a kid and now as an older kid.
Well, everyone's a kid at heart, right?
And what got you two into acting?
It was a clowning course in like year 3, to be honest.
Sorry, for those of us that are too old, what the hell's year 3? How old were you?
I don't know. I don't know. It was primary school, like 7 or
8.
8. I don't know. We did a clowning course where you just had to say that someone had to say something, and you had to roll on and just say yes, and then continue the scene. And it was the most fun that I had when I was 7. And so ever since then, I was just chasing that 7-year-old dream.
Trying to get that high. Josh?
Oh, so what get into my take? It's kind of one of those things where ever since I was a little kid, I got to watch people be, superheroes, monsters, vampire hunters, all the stuff that I knew I would never be. So I kind of found this passion for wanting to pretend to be like, the superhero, or getting to be able to like do that. And ever since then, it's been like a wacky ride of doing all of these different shows.
there's a certain amount of love and care that comes into when you're given a character and then building their backstory, and then everything that makes the person they are on screen is because of something you don't see, and learning what that is and creating that is one of the passions that stems from it. Is where it's at. And you?
Oh, I don't want to answer that question now.
Come on. Come on.
Okay, in all seriousness, I did it to meet chicks.
Valid.
I'd moved to a new city, I didn't know anyone, and there's the ratio of guys to girls in musical theatre and theatre in general is very much in your favour if you're straight. Sorry, I really wish I had a more philosophical and, dreaming of being the things I cannot be, or chasing that experience that I experienced when I was a child. No.
You're
just a horny teenager.
Just cutting it to the chase, to be honest. Let's be honest.
I was chasing something. But seriously, thank you guys for your time and for the experience. But all I can ask Armageddon is that you support your local theatres, your local productions, local comedians. Jump on Facebook, find where things are happening. If you want to get involved, if you want to become an actor, or if you have any dreams of being involved in the industry, this is the sort of place you can start. Because it's like a lot of places will say you don't have any experience. We'll give you experience. We'll give you experience up the wazoo. So, Tin Whistle Collective, they've got a booth just around the corner. Go and have a look at it. Now talk to Jason and Eli. You can talk to them face to face. They're pretty approachable guys. You're probably two of the nicest guys you'll ever find in the industry at all. Look them up on Facebook, on Instagram, and keep an eye out for the next project. And we're going to end it with a sausage, aren't we?
No. I want to say that they're also selling copies of Two Idiots and a Tin Whistle at their booth. They're each of them numbered, so very limited edition. And if you're looking for the 69th copy, you're not going to find it.
I want number one.
Too late. I got it.
Long gone.
How many have you printed?
What's this?
How many? I'll have 100. I'll have the number one. The number 100. I don't want to buy it. I want 100. Okay, cool. Thank you very much, ladies. Please, round of applause. Tin Whistle Collective. Okay, so we're going to have the Cosplay Parade coming up here on the main stage next. And I just want to point out something. This gentleman over here is a rocket man.